Hi guys, today is my very first Fan Choice Friday and we're going to be working on this teal, shimmer white pearl, and coral mermaid inspired water marble as suggested by Rebecca Malero. This was actually the suggestion that had the most thumbs up in the comments, and it also won out in the voting. So if you'd like to see how I did it, just stay tuned. Starting out with clean, dry nails, I'm going to go ahead and apply my base coat. Today I'm using Ready for Takeoff. And also as a note, when you're water marbling, you also want to make sure that your hands and fingers are really clean, that you don't have any lotion residue or anything that might come off and contaminate the water and make water marbling even harder than it needs to be. Now that my base coat is dry, I'm going to go ahead and apply my base color. And for my base color, I'm going to be using Rescue Beauty Lounge Ethereal. Hopefully you guys can see the kind of pearly shimmer that this has. Then I'm going to be marbling with that, plus coral, very aptly named. And the teal is called Monologue. So can't quite fit those all in the frame, but those are the colors that you'll be seeing in the cup. As usual, I'm working in a 5-ounce cup of room temperature filtered water, and I'm just going to go ahead and build my bullseye. I'm going to finish with 2 drops of white in the middle, just so the white doesn't all go away as I'm drawing in toward the center. And I'm going to be drawing a flower pattern, but rather than just doing straight lines in toward the center, I'm going to be drawing them in with a little bit of a curve. And you'll see as I continue to draw in that the design gets more, sorry about that, more and more curved and kind of more and more asymmetrical as I go. And this is another case where it's going to be up to your preference how thin you draw the petals. I want them to be fairly thin, so I'm just going to keep going in between each of them and dipping in the middle to keep that from getting real kind of messy and goobery. And I think I'm just about ready here. Maybe just a couple more strokes. And I'm going to try to decide how I want to dip my fingers here. I think I'm going to go ahead and turn the cup a little bit. And then I'm going to be aiming kind of the center of the flower toward the cuticle of my ring finger. I am dipping 3 nails at once, which can be a little bit tricky, but just go ahead and line them up as best as you can, and then dip. Go ahead and clean up any excess. A lot of times when you dip multiple fingers, there's not a lot of excess. Then go ahead and slowly pull out, and there's the marble. So, if I move the cup out of the way here, I did not get an excellent design on my index nail, but I'm pretty happy with how the other 2 turned out. So, I am prepped, of course, with Simply Peel, and I'm just going to go ahead and peel that off. Then I'll be finishing the cleanup around the cuticle and finishing with the top coat, which of course will be Seche Vite. So here is the finished manicure, and I'll have to admit I have kind of mixed feelings about it. I do really love the colors together, but I have a couple nails that I'm not totally happy with the design. And every water marble is kind of a learning experience. I feel like, even after all these years, I'm still learning things or trying to figure stuff out. In this case, you can see on my ring finger here that the edge is just a ring, it's not a petal. And that's because as I was doing it, the outer rings were starting to dry. Now, when I was testing it, you can see here, it wasn't drying as fast. I was able to pull all the way from the edge all around, and that really created a lot more design. It would definitely be wide enough to dip 3 fingers in. And I honestly don't know if it's because as I'm talking, I'm blowing on the cup a little bit, or if the heat from my lamps makes it dry a little quicker. But in retrospect, I probably should have just done 2 fingers at a time instead of 3. To show you guys a couple of my other test strips, I was thinking of doing something almost kind of like a scale inspired pattern to go with the mermaid inspired idea. But while I think this maybe has some promise and maybe I'll revisit it another time, I just wasn't quite pleased with how it was turning out. Of course, one of the things I always check is what base color I want to use. You can see here was a test with coral as the base color. The white pretty much faded out. You can barely see it in between the blue there. This is with the teal as a base color, and the white stood out surprisingly well, but the coral really disappeared in that. And then I tried just a couple other designs. This is kind of a messier petal design, and then like a spiral. But in the end, I ended up going with the curved flower design. And unfortunately, I like my test strip better than any of the designs I got in the cup for my manicure. But sometimes that's just the way it goes. And like I said, there's always something new to learn. But I definitely would love to hear what you guys think of this. There will be 3 more Fan Choice Fridays this month. You can see the poll results over on my blog. And I don't know that I'll be doing them. This was the highest voted design, but I also immediately had some colors in mind for it. So I may not necessarily be going first, second, third, fourth. And I haven't yet decided which color combination I'll be doing next Friday. But if you had a suggestion, like I said, go check out the results, see if yours will be upcoming. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. And as always, thanks for watching.